So we're going to make this authentic and real. A first time go video. So if this sounds off the cuff, it's because that's exactly what this is. So I heard Alex Hormozi, I think he was requoting Elon Musk when he said, running a startup, it was a conversation about entrepreneurship. He said, running a startup is like chewing on broken glass while staring into the abyss of death, which is a pretty accurate description of what it's like. And I'd say you got to be at least a little crazy to go into this world. Either that or just completely ignorant. But regardless, the reality comes to the surface very quickly, because just the statistical likelihood of making it is just so unlikely that you got to be a little crazy, I think, just to even get started. And it really remains that way for a while, maybe indefinitely, but certainly in the beginning. And when I say in the beginning, I'm talking the first 7-10 years where you were just getting your ass kicked repeatedly, and you're making all these crazy, sacrifices and all the late nights and early mornings and all these cliche things, all with this hope that it will pay off without ever knowing if it actually will. Such is life in a lot of ways, really. And one of the challenges that I've noticed with myself and with other colleagues is when you get a win, there's almost this, whether it's deliberate or unintentional, you're setting a new standard for yourself. You've raised the bar, which can be great. Thinking that this is just going to be the way it is now moving forward. And then reality sets in. Sometimes minutes later, maybe hours or days later, where you get kicked in the balls again. And it's those highs and lows, that crazy roller coaster ride, that is what forces a lot of people out of the game. They're like, I just can't take the swings, because the stress and the pressure, it's enough to kill you. It can literally kill you. So it's really hard. Oftentimes, immediately following a win can be one of the greater challenges. Many of you are probably aware, if you've seen some of our content and some of the stuff that we put out, that we've had the privilege of working with the Boston Celtics now. This is our third year with them. We started with them at the very end of the 2023 season. I think it was just prior to playoffs. I was with them one time. They obviously didn't get the job done. We were with them all of last year, from the very beginning of the season. Actually, preseason was when we started with them. A bunch of different in-person experiences, presentations, team building exercises, a lot of virtual work. I remained pretty close, in close contact with Joe Mazzulla, the head coach, on a regular basis, including me being at Game 5. I spoke to the team just prior to them going out onto the court at the Garden, in which they ended up winning the World Championship. I have a video of me I posted of me on the hardwood as the confetti is coming down, and myself, along with the entire rest of the city of Boston, just losing our minds. So a pretty amazing moment for me personally and professionally. I mean, I grew up watching the Celtics. As a kid, I was watching Bird and Parrish and McHale and the dynasty that the Celtics are. A little later on in life, after I'd entered the military, watched Paul and Kevin and Ray win the title again. So to be even just a small part of such a historic franchise in winning another title, personally, is an incredible honor and surreal. Of course, professionally, that marks a huge milestone for us and the work that me and my team have done. The last time I was in Boston with the team, which was just last month, as I was wrapping up and getting ready to head back to the airport, Joe, we were in his office, and Joe's like, hey man, give me a second. I was like, cool, I was just packing up my gear. He comes walking back in, And immediately I know what he's carrying in his hands. And sure enough, he unveils it. And I'm just floored. He's like, hey, this is for you. I'm going to show you what it is here in a second. But I was really at a loss for words, and he just said, hey man, we wouldn't have gotten this without you. So we wanted to present you with this. It was too big for me to fly home with. So I said, hey, can you guys ship it to me? They're like, yeah, no problem. We'll get it to you. And when I walked into my office this morning, I checked with our receptionist and they're like, hey, you got a package, which is common for me. I get packages shipped here all the time. This one is a very unusual shape. And so I look at it, I'm like, what is this? And then I look at the shipping address, where it was from. And immediately I know exactly what it is. So if I can find a way to prop this up. Let's see. I think this will work. So I did black out some of the data, but you can see right there, basketball operations, Boston Celtics. This is what was presented to me by Joe, and they shipped it, and I just got it. See if I can't figure out how to do this. And as you can see, yeah, from the team, an exact replica, or just one of the many that they print off, or that they create to give out to members of the organization. One of these is hanging from the rafters of the Boston Garden right now, except this one is truly a one of a kind, because if you guys can see, the team was generous enough to sign it for me. It's in these moments here, certainly a win, right? For me and for my entire team, that leaves you kind of speechless. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. But this is obviously a high point for me personally and for us professionally. When you start down this road, there's a whole shit ton of unknowns. But this is just another reminder that it is possible. I don't have an MBA. I barely graduated college with my bachelor's. I'm a team guy. That's all I really wanted to do. I would have been more than fine if that's what my entire professional career consisted of. And life happens and you make decisions. You decide to venture into this crazy world of entrepreneurship with not a clue really as to what you're doing, but you are both crazy enough and you believe in it enough to do it anyway. And to think that in just 3 years, me and my company have gotten to a point where we are working with organizations like the Boston Celtics, multiple other professional sports teams, Fortune 500 companies, law enforcement organizations across the country. I mean, it's just wild, So this is one of those high points on the journey here as I'm sharing it with you live as I'm going through it, all while knowing that the kick in the nuts is coming. In fact, it'll probably happen at some point this afternoon, So I'm going to enjoy the win. I got a meeting that's starting in 10 minutes. But between now and then, I'm going to sit at my desk. I'm going to sip on some coffee. And I'm going to savor this moment. Because for many of us, that can be really difficult to do. Because we're just on to the next thing. And it is important to get zeroed in on the next thing. But I'm really trying to do a better job of living in the moment and being grounded and being proud of the work that was done to create the win. Can't bask in the sun for too long. right? We got to get back on target. But I'm going to enjoy this one for the next 5 or 10 minutes. And I just wanted to share this moment with you guys. So humbling, surreal, wild, crazy, all the things. So appreciate you guys enjoying this moment with me. We're going to have a good fucking day today. I hope you guys do the same. Let's go.